All right, let's do it. It's time for the Morning aMEOWncements. Morning aMEOWncements on the Nightcat with Nightcat YouTube channel. That is a kitsch-minded morning show where we get you ready for the day. I'm so happy that you're here. I am your host, Nightcat. Welcome. We've got a great show coming up. We're going to tell you some updates. Finally, that piece of the Chinese rocket launcher dropped into the middle of the ocean instead of on top of our heads like we all thought it was going to. We'll talk about where it landed, and then we're going to get into the book of useless information. I'm going to tell you about the town with the most divorces and why. But before we get into any of that, I just want to say sorry we missed Thursday and Friday. I have been running ragged. I have been running on empty lately trying to get the true crime tours put together, and Friday was our last test show. So if you don't know, I put together a walking tour of downtown Salt Lake where basically I took a big group of people and I took them to 5 famous murder locations and we tell them the whole story behind it. We had so much fun. Huge shout out to anybody who came, by the way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I saw Marcia over in the comments. I know Marcia came. Lindy came as well. Good morning, Lindy. So yeah, it was just the most fun. And I know a lot of people have been wondering, what is the future of them? Are we going to do more? What's happening there? Well, here's the thing. I wanted to test out to see if it's even something that would be feasible, because I really would like this to kind of be my summer job. And I think that we could do it. I really do. I think that it went really well. Everyone was really happy with it. There weren't any major problems that I couldn't work out pretty quickly. So yesterday, I applied for my business license for Nightcat Media, which is what I will be running the true crime tours through. So I'm waiting on some paperwork. It's a lot of paperwork, but I'm waiting for all that to be filed. And once I get a business license, I can go to the clerk and try to get some permits that would allow us to be out on the street like that. So once I have my business license, my permits, and I get some insurance, because insurance, I'm going to be bringing the true crime tours back, baby, as a permanent thing all summer. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Keep watching for Nightcat. If you didn't get the chance to go the first round, you didn't entirely miss out. We're going to make it go again. And then something else that I was talking to the true crime tour about, like when we were going through them and I was talking to everyone, something that I'd really like to do is spend the summer making a lot and saving up a lot and buying a transit van so that we could do van tours in the winter. Because let's get real, no one's walking around downtown in the winter. It's not fun. But if I could get a van, then I could take you to even more crazy true crime tour locations. I could do like private bachelorette party. Like, hey, you want to spend your bachelor party at a ghost town? I'll tell you all the haunted stuff that happened there. So I've got big ideas, big dreams for how I want this to all work out. And I'm excited for that you're already along for the ride. I mean, a lot of you already came on the tours, and I hope you had as much fun as I did, because I thought they turned out great. Anyway, that's just a huge life update. That's why Friday and Thursday's show got canceled. I woke up and I was just like, I can't. I'm tired. I can't do it today. So that's what's going on there, and I'll give you more information as it comes up. Keep your eye, by the way, on social media. I'm real active on TikTok and on Instagram, so I might be updating through there. All of my social media handles are down in the link tree. If you're not following me on everything, look for linktr.ee/JacksonWitt. Click on that. It'll take you everywhere you need to go. You can also get on the waiting list. So there's a true crime walking tour waiting list. Click on that, put your name and email in there, and then I'll email you when the tours are good to go again. All right, let's get into the Morning Mews then. What do you say? The Morning Mews is the part of the show where I go through the top pop culture headlines. I let you know what's going on in the world so you don't feel left behind. You got stuff to talk about when you go to work and school. And I want to get started with that piece of the Chinese rocket launcher. So if you don't remember, I think it was last week, 2 weeks ago. Sure. Anyway, China launched a rocket. And part of the launcher, and the rocket made it out. Everything that way went according to plan. But a piece of the launcher got stuck to the rocket and went up into space with it, and then was disengaged and fell back to the Earth. The thing is, though, no one knew where it was going to land. And it was like the biggest part of it, the biggest part of the debris that didn't look like it was going to break up was about the size of a Mack truck. So it could have landed. And by the way, they were just like, well, it could land between this parallel and this parallel or whatever. It was the entire populated part of Earth. I think the most northern parts of Canada and the North Pole, and then maybe the penguins in the South Pole would have been safe. But everywhere else, they were like, yeah, it might drop here. They say that this was one of the largest uncontrollable objects from space to ever fall, including meteors. So it really could have been bad. Well, it finally hit over the weekend. I believe it was Saturday. It landed in the Indian Ocean near the Maldives. So it landed in the ocean. It didn't make contact with land. I mean, quite frankly, considering isn't our planet like 70% water? It would have to actually be the craziest odds for it to land on Earth. 30% is not that, you're way more likely to hit the ocean at that point. But they also cut off the top and bottom part of the ocean, so as far as where it could land, so I guess that kind of thins the odds a little bit. Honestly, I kind of wish that that thing had hit my car. I really do. I drive such a crap heap of a car. That thing sucks. I pray every day that somebody hits me in that car. The air conditioner is broke. The battery decides when it wants to work and when it doesn't want to work, even though it's brand new. My locks don't lock anymore. So now I just have people rifling through it every night. My car has been broken into like 6 times in the last 2 weeks. It's ridiculous. I only know that because my glove box is open every time. It's just like, shut the glove box when you're done trying to rob me, you idiots. So anyway, I don't have anything valuable in there, so it doesn't matter. But if that piece of Chinese space debris could have landed on top of my car so that China could buy me a nice new car, that would have been lovely. Thank you so much. So now I'm just bitter, and now I have to just keep waiting to hopefully get hit somewhere. And it has to be someone else's fault. It can't be my fault. I can't pay more insurance. It's just not going to happen. All right, very sad news. Bo Obama, the former first dog of the United States, passed away over the weekend. He was 12 years old, and it sounds like he had cancer. So he passed away from cancer. He did pass pretty young. If you don't remember Bo, the Obamas got him right when they moved into the White House because that was a campaign trail promise they had made to their daughters. Like, hey, if you get through the campaign, we promise we're going to bring a dog. You can finally have your dog you've always wanted. And then they did. And Michelle Obama posted just like the sweetest thing. She talked about how, like, he was so good in the White House and, like, he was nice to everybody. He didn't bite anyone. Looking at you, Major. But he was just like the best dog and never spooked and ran with everything like it was no big deal and just partied hard. And then she talked about how when they left the White House and everything calmed down and the girls went off to college, like he just helped them settle and relax into life as empty nesters. And then, and this is not going to make me cry again, but I guess last year with the pandemic, the girls moved back in with their parents. Sasha and Malia moved back in with Michelle and Barack. So Bo had all of the people he loved the most in the house for a whole year before he died. And he was just like apparently beside himself. He was so happy that everyone was there. So even though it's very, very sad news, he at least got to spend the last year of his life with all of his favorite humans, and they couldn't go anywhere. They got stuck. I'm telling you, I do think the pandemic was some sort of like dog curse. Like a dog found a genie and was just like, I wish my people were home all the time. And the genie's like, you got it, fam. And then bam, COVID happened. It's the only thing that makes any sense at this point, quite frankly. I blame the dogs. Anyway. I'm sending a lot of love out to the Obamas. It is so hard losing a pet. It just like, and people act like, oh, your cat died. Okay, you're fine. Come in and, cry over the weekend and come in on Monday or whatever. I'm like, that's like losing a family member. And don't tell me it's not. I don't care. If you don't believe that, you can GTFO. Go find another channel. Go find another channel with a bunch of haters. All right. All right. So this is great too. Seth Rogen. He was being profiled recently in GQ magazine, and he talked about this time he had a conversation with George Lucas, Star Wars, George Lucas. And George Lucas genuinely believed that the world was going to end in 2012. Like, actually sat Seth Rogen down, gave him a 25-minute presentation, essentially, on why he knows the world is ending, or at the very least, anything west of the San Andreas Fault was going to be sunk down into the ocean. And he said, I quote, "It's just science. I know science." And Seth Rogen's just sitting there like, there's no way. There's no way. This has got to be a joke, right? Or just like a crazy guy rambling. So he makes a joke, Seth Rogen does, to George Lucas of, well, you know, if you've got like an escape pod that can get us up to space before this happens, can I come with you? And George Lucas just looked at him dead seriously and said, no. And Seth Rogen was like, I thought maybe he was kidding up until that point. Because if you were kidding, you'd be like, oh yeah, hop onto my spaceship. But he said no. And I think about that all the time. Oh man. Sometimes I do think that the world ended in 2012. And then this has all just been purgatory. Like, everyone else got raptured, but there aren't a lot of good people, so we didn't notice that many people were missing. And we're all just the sinners that have to survive the next few years. Revelation. Four-headed dragons! Rah! Anyway. Twitter! This is our final story of Morning Mews. Twitter has introduced a new feature that they're hoping will reduce online bullying on their site. And they've been under a lot of pressure to do so. Anyway, there's a lot going on over there, but they've decided that this is how they're going to handle it, okay? If you write a spicy tweet or a spicy reply, something that could be considered bullying, it will stop you before you can post it, and it will give you a pop-up that says, want to review this before tweeting? Just like, are you sure you want to send that? All right, Mom, enough with the guilt trip, okay? So the idea is, it'll give you the option to edit the tweet, delete it, or proceed to send it. And the idea is it gives you a second thought to be like, okay, maybe I don't want to call this person a cow-faced hooker or something. You know, whatever it might be. You're going to get that second chance to sort of take that back. And the company says that when they tested it, 34% of people decided they were either going to edit the tweet or delete it and not send it at all. So, pretty promising, but I'll tell you what, this is really going to backfire on them as far as I'm concerned. I exclusively use Twitter to bully politicians and celebrities that I think are mouthy. Like, straight up, I go on there so that I can yell at the senators because, listen, they're all like, write to my office, I'll listen, leave me a voicemail. No, they won't. No, they won't. They don't care. You're going to get some pissed off aide who doesn't want to be there, who's getting paid like $9 an hour to answer calls from the most angry people. And they're going to call you back and be like, yes, well, the senator expresses his meow, meow, meow. No, he doesn't. The senator doesn't know me, doesn't know I exist, even though that's literally his only job. So, I go to Twitter because I know they read it and it hurts their feelings. And I want to hurt their feelings because it's time that somebody hurts their feelings. They think they're hot S over in DC, I'll tell you. They think they are the cream of the crop. They think they own this place. They don't, honey. They work for us. We voted them in and we can take them out, and they need to be reminded of that. So now, if I tweet something to a politician and it sends, and I don't get the pop-up that's like, are you sure you don't want to review this? Well, now I know that it wasn't mean enough. So I've got to delete it and write something meaner so that Twitter's bulliometer goes off the chain, and I know that I'm getting listened to. And that is the Morning Mews. Let's check in on the chat. Good morning, Katie. Good morning, Zizor. Marsha, how are you, dear? Good morning, Nathan. Lindy, I'm so glad you had fun on the tour, dear. Sadie, hello, darling. Erica, good morning, Erica. Yeah, Zizor, I'm telling you, we got put into the bad timeline. I don't know what happened, but something happened in 2012. I don't know what it was. Was it the world ending per se? No, it's just where we got cross-wired with another timeline that was going very poorly. All right. Okay, well, then I think it's time for us to get into the book of useless information. This is a bathroom reader. I found at a thrift store a while back, and I just think it's fun. Chock full of fun facts. I love to read you some of them, including, did you know that Reno, Nevada is Divorce USA? So everyone knows you go to Vegas for a quickie marriage, but apparently you go to Reno for a quickie divorce. And here's why. Reno has been the place known to get a quickie divorce for more than a century. In the 1800s, many people sought riches in mining, agriculture, fur trapping, and other industries that spread from Nevada to California. What better place to put a town in the path of those fortune seekers than Reno? Now here's the thing though. Mining and agricultural endeavors were feast or famine industries, meaning you were either doing incredibly well, bringing in untold riches, or the whole town was broke and everyone left it behind. Like that's all that happened back then. There wasn't a lot of just like middle class. You were either real poor or you were real rich. So to offset those parts where people weren't making as much food or mining as much gold or whatever it is, to make it through that, the city of Reno decided to host all sorts of illegal activities, including gambling, but they also implemented easy divorces. In the 1860s, a Reno law called for divorce seekers to reside in town for 6 months and then at one point for a full year. So this might seem like a long time, but that's actually a lot less than most other states. Like in order to get a divorce, you'd have to live together in other states for like years. In Reno, as long as you lived in Reno together for 6 months or a year at this point, you could get your divorce really fast. So people wanted to move out there, get through it, and speed it up and then get out. Divorce ranches appeared overnight. So these were extended stay motels that literally were geared toward divorcing couples. They were like, yeah, you can come spend your 6 months here. There's a little bit of work here. You can stay in the motel. We'll feed you or whatever. And then as soon as your divorce is over, you can move back to your home state and then like get on with your life or whatever it is you want to do. People flocked to Reno for release from their marital bonds. When the Great Depression hit, times got hard. Reno officials decided to reduce residency requirements to a mere 6 weeks. So their plan is like, okay, well, if we say 6 weeks, then we'll get people from all over rushing in here to buy things and, patronize our businesses. And it worked because more than 30,000 divorces were granted in the courthouse between 1929 and 1939. By 1940, 5% of all U.S. divorces had been filed in Reno, Nevada. So in a territory all the way out here, I think it was a state by then, but all the way out here in the western United States, there were cities all over, way more densely populated. It was 5% of all divorces happening there. To this day, Reno maintains a 6-week residency requirement. So hey, if you're looking for a quickie divorce, Reno is the place to go. Reno is also the place to go if you want to wonder, so this is what the worst place on earth is like. Except for maybe Wyoming. Wyoming and Reno, as far as I'm concerned, are the same. And that is the book of useless information. All right. Let's talk about our Patreon real quick. Patreon.com/Nightcat Show. I'm sure I've talked your ear off about it, but just in case you weren't aware, this is how we keep it going. This is how we make things happen, folks. Patreon.com/Nightcat Show. Patreon is an awesome service where you can support your favorite artists to make things like this show or the true crime tours and things like that. I do it with money that I make off of the Patreon. If you can donate either $3 or $5 a month, that would be super awesome. You can donate a little more if you want. I'm not going to stop you. But if you have $3 or $5 to spare, it would be really great. Check out patreon.com/Nightcat Show. Also, check out the link tree in the description of this video. It has the links to everything, including the Patreon, including the podcast, including, well, like I said, everything. All right, I'm gonna take off for the day then. I'm gonna leave it over to the fish for your 3 minutes of fish. I hope you have a, I almost said wonderful day. What am I doing? I hope you have the day you deserve. That's what we do on this show. We let karma handle it. Hey, go out and have the day that you deserve. Here are your 3 minutes of fish. Nope, that's not 3 minutes of fish. Here we go.